Welcome to week 13 edition of Johnny's Intangibles. I'm Collin Wilson. Joining me today, as he does every week, is Johnny Manziel to talk about the latest things happening in college football. And we always start off with Johnny's MVP of the week. Johnny, we're down to crunch time here. Just about to get week 13, week 14 going. There were clutch performances from Shai Sanders. Elijah Badger of Florida returned from injury, was a huge factor for their victory over LSU. And Lenora Sellers, South Carolina, is still the peskiest team in the SEC. Who do you have as your MVP of the week?
Yeah, I really like the way Carson Beck played this last week. 25 of 40, 347, two touchdowns, and added another one on the ground. This is just kind of the way we've been wanting and expecting to see him play throughout this year. I think this was his best performance of the year. I think, when your back's against the wall and very much so in this game, I saw a graphic during the game that was, whichever team won this game had a 94+% chance of making it to the college football playoff. And if you lose this game, your chances went down astronomically and probably end your season. So, when your back's against the wall and you need to come out and play your best football, I think, against a good Tennessee team, especially a good Tennessee defense, they did just that on Saturday.
Yeah, Beck quieting a lot of the haters that he's had the previous 3 weeks. I think you got to give credit to the offensive line. Only 5 pressures on Carson Beck through 41 dropbacks against the Tennessee defensive line that is one of the best in the nation. He had his lowest release time of the season at a cool 2.34 seconds. Has he turned the corner on his season as far as his passing goes?
I think the big thing about it is you see in the box scores, he didn't turn the ball over. So I mean, for him, has been a little turnover prone the last couple of weeks and really putting him in a difficult spot. When you don't turn the ball over, especially offensively, you're going to give yourself a much higher percentage chance of win. You're just going to keep yourself in the game for a lot longer. And I think a lot of that boils down to exactly that.
Yeah, I think one thing also that we have not seen the entire season is the usage of tight ends. Oscar Delp, Benjamin Urasek, and Lawson Lucky all combined for 11 targets. For Delp and Urasek, it's the most targets that they've seen the entire season. Were the Georgia offensive problems just as simple as, hey, we need to find a replacement for Brock Bowers?
I mean, if you look at what Brock Bowers is doing on Sundays, you're obviously going to miss that production that you get from him regardless. So, this is a little bit different approach for them than what we've seen throughout some of the season to be able to get the tight end targets up and be able to, have a couple different looks offensively. I think that helps them with the run game a lot to have some bigger guys in there. And really at the receiver position, they haven't had anybody throughout the year really stand out and go and make a bunch of plays for them when they need it. So, this may be a new wrinkle that they've added and something that definitely worked this week.
Yeah, earlier in the day in the SEC, LSU got chucked out of the standings for contention to make the SEC championship. There was a little bit of a scene on the sidelines. Wide receiver Chris Hilton Jr. was pulled off, came to Brian Kelly. By the way, Chris Hilton Jr., the worst PFF grade of anybody that played offense for LSU. But Brian Kelly got into his grill and, using this, since this is a family show, he said, "Don't walk away from me. You're effing uncoachable. Who the F do you think you are?" Johnny, I have no other than talking to another player. How in the world is just the public that sees this on the sideline with LSU? Are we to determine whether there's an actual problem between Brian Kelly and his roster if he's lost it, or if this is just how coaches speak to players in between series all the time?
I think obviously when you see Brian Kelly, he definitely gets a little animated at times throughout the season. This is one of those seasons for them that probably couldn't be more frustrating. If you rewind this tape back on the season 5 weeks ago, they're in a completely different position than where they are now. So this is, a combination of things. I think one being, frustration boiling over from the season and the way things have gone, especially the way that this game went for them. And also, I think this is something that has probably been going on a little bit. With Chris Hilton Jr. This is something that you see in practice. It's something that you see in the day in and day out to probably be able to get him to that point. You are 12 weeks into the season, the things that you should be doing, the details and everything. You should have a lot of that ironed out by now, especially this late in the season. So this is definitely one of those things. When a season doesn't go your way, you feel like you're out of it. It's almost like you don't have anything else to do but blow up.
Well, one team that is buttoned up and they've got it down right now and dominating is Colorado in the Big 12. Travis Hunter is up to minus 350 to win the Heisman. Came up with some huge offensive plays. He did give up his first touchdown as a corner. In this play that we have in our film review, Hunter takes the reverse. He's surrounded by 4 Utah defenders. It doesn't matter. A few seconds later, he's in the end zone. Can Ashton Genty catch up to Travis Hunter and the hype that is Colorado right now?
I mean, I would think so, in my opinion, yes. I mean, what Ashton Genty's doing, the pace that he's on, the way and the football that he's playing, I think he's making himself every possible case to be able to have a good run at being in New York. But what Travis Hunter is doing is also just incredible. I mean, I think week in and week out, the guy's getting into the end zone or he has an interception, he's making big plays. And the resurgence of this Colorado team, if you would have asked me about, this Colorado team being in this position after the Nebraska game, I would have told you absolutely no way, especially seeing how Nebraska's season has gone and continued to go for them. And I think just a lot of things has happened with this Colorado team. One, they just, buttoned up on the run defense a little bit. They're not giving as much explosive big plays up. Tackling's been a lot better. And I think you have your star players that you see week in and week out that are getting the ball and really allowing their offense to really kind of flow. So, on this play that you see, I think it's trying to be a reverse pass a little bit. And this is just where the best athlete on the field, the opposing team doesn't have a guy that can come out here and stop him. Definitely not any of those big guys that are up front. So this is just an unbelievable shake and bake from him, just doing what he does best and finding space and be able to wiggle free and get into the end zone.
There's a lot of talk out there about Travis Hunter, who, by the way, has almost eclipsed 600 plays on offense and 600 plays on defense. Where is he going to play in the NFL? Wide receiver or corner? Or is there a potential GM out there that'll say, sure, play 100 snaps a game on both sides of the ball. We'll use you as much as we can. What is he going to do
I
in the
would
NFL?
I would think he would be on the defensive side of the ball. I think that's his best attribute that he has. I think he's an absolutely top-notch cornerback, a guy who's going to continue to grow into that position as well. So I wouldn't think in the NFL, we haven't really seen it. I don't even see a GM being able to do that. It's obviously a lot different when you get to that league and to that level. But I think he'll play corner, and I think he'll be really, really good at it, obviously.
All right. So in this other film that we have, Shai Sanders, he just continues to elude the pass rush. He's had 146 pressures this season. He's had to escape so many defensive lines coming after him. We see him spin out of the pocket, go left, spin out of that, go back to the middle of the field, and throw get a pass off. This is shades of Caleb Williams at USC, where there was just a lot of spinning out of the pocket and try to spin his way out of pressure. There was a huge adjustment for Caleb playing for the Bears earlier this season. Do you see a similar type of learning curve adjustment for Shedeur once he gets to the NFL?
I think everybody has to go through it. I think a lot of mobile guys will really learn how fast and how quick the game is when you get to the next level. And a lot of the things that you do in college, with ease at times, definitely button up and get a lot harder to do whenever you get to the NFL. The speed is just too fast. The D linemen are just too good. So I believe that Shedeur is still going to get to that next level and be able to be elusive and be able to make plays. But, as everybody learns when you get to the NFL, it is a little bit of a different beast.
So staying in a question that involves the Big 12, the ACC, Clemson survives Pitt. ACC could send SMU, Clemson, Miami to the bye in the college football playoff. And the Big 12 could send BYU and Colorado. Johnny, I'm going to put you on the spot. Over under 0.5 wins for the ACC and the Big 12 in the college football playoff.
Hmm. I mean, I would think that one of these teams finds a way to win a game. I think obviously with the way this is looking, with a Big 12 team maybe getting one in, maybe an ACC team getting one in, we're going to see a SEC Big 10 loaded playoff. So I would think we would take the over here and have one of these two conferences be able to find a way to get one win.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how many teams the committee actually selects from both of those power conferences. And we're going to end on this because the Pop-Tarts Bowl was just such a success last year from a mascot perspective. The fact that he was toasted at the end of the game, he had a funeral. Last year, the Pop-Tarts Bowl ended, and the mascot was toasted. A live mascot was toasted. Kansas State players ate the Pop-Tart. Now there are going to be three mascots at the Pop-Tarts Bowl: the Frosted Fudge Sundae, the Frosted Wild Berry, and a mystery flavor that none of us know about in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Johnny, what is your power rankings on your list of Pop-Tart flavors?
I think for me, I like your top flavors that you had from this tweet in 2023. I'm a strawberry blueberry guy for sure. And then if I had to throw a little wrinkle in the mix that I think, would be a little bit different, I think I would probably have to go with the strawberry milkshake, to be honest. These Pop Tarts are just, no matter how you slice them, no matter how they are, no matter, they're pretty tried and true to be absolutely delicious. So, I'm a little basic on the strawberry blueberry to start, but, I like the classics.
Yeah, that strawberry milkshake got a lot of love on the Twitter. So we'll see. I'll probably be eating a whole box of them during this bowl game. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Johnny's Intangibles. Thank you for joining me, Johnny. We'll talk to you guys next week, same time.
Appreciate you, buddy. See you next week.